Welcome back. Spotlight on the midterms now. We are now 4 days away from the midterm elections. We are taking a look at key economic data in states with some of the most influential races. So today we zero in on Missouri, Montana, and Colorado. Joining us right now is Kristin Tate. She is the Hill contributor and author of How Do I Tax Thee? Kristin, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Before we get to Missouri, let me get your take overall. How do you think the Republicans fare in the midterms on Tuesday night?
Well, I think this is really a referendum on Trump. So Republicans are trying to inject Trump into these races as much as possible to get his supporters to the polls. This is all about mobilization, but Trump mobilizes Democrats too. We have Democrats running on the perceived hatred of Trump. So it's just about who can get the most folks to those voting booths. But I think that the Democrats are going to take back the House, but it'll be tight.
All right, let's start with Missouri here. The president was there last night campaigning for Republican candidate Josh Hawley. He's locked in a tight race against incumbent Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill, first elected back in 2006. Missouri's first quarter GDP, 2.4%. The unemployment rate, 3.2% in September. The state's leading industries are hospitals, nursing, and residential care facilities. President Trump won this state back in 2016. What's your take here? Can Hawley unseat McCaskill?
So this race is really a toss-up, but the most recent polls do suggest that Hawley has a slight edge here. Remember, Missouri is kind of a right-leaning state. Trump won it by 19 points. So McCaskill is really trying to position herself as a moderate Democrat, someone who's worked with Trump. She's really courting Trump supporters because, frankly, she needs them to win this race. The two biggest issues there are healthcare and the economy. The economy there in Missouri is doing pretty well. Growth has not been as robust as it's been for the nation as a whole. I think unemployment sits at about 3.3%. But interestingly, Hawley really hasn't been talking about the economy much. And I think that's because of tariffs. Hawley supported President Trump when he tried to win these trade wars, but now Missouri is really feeling the effects of tariffs. China buys about 1/3 of Missouri's soybean crop. And of course, they slapped those 25% tariffs on soybeans, which reduced their value by about 20%. So that's really devastating to the farming industry there, which was already hurting.
Yeah, that's really a good point. And don't forget what Claire McCaskill said the other day. She's really trying to look like she's a moderate, calling her colleagues crazy.
Yeah.
She said those crazy Democrats.
Well,
Right.
I wonder, does that affect turnout for her in St. Louis? She's obviously trying to get more of that rural vote, but what does that do for kind of the core Democratic voter there?
She's in a tough position, you know, because she comes off as looking too liberal for the moderates and conservative voters, but too moderate for the really liberal voters in those cities. So she is walking a very tough tightrope here. But Hawley has responded by really hammering her on that no vote that she gave to Kavanaugh and a couple other issues like her personal wealth. You know, McCaskill loves to say that, you know, she's just an ordinary Missouri gal, but really she's extremely wealthy. I think her net worth is like $29 million. So there are several issues that she's being hammered on, and this is all to get the base energized on the right. But I do think she's going to have a hard time reaching out to people in the cities and, you know, these really far left progressive voters because, again, she is seen as too moderate for them.
All right, Kristin, let's move on to Montana. Incumbent Democratic Senator Jon Tester facing off the Republican challenger Matt Rosendale. Now, on the economic front, first quarter GDP in Montana, 2.5%. September unemployment, 3.6%. So a good unemployment number. The president is headed to Montana tomorrow. This is this last-minute campaign blitz before voters head to the polls. Kristin, what's driving voters here?
Well, Tester is, again, another Democrat trying to fight for his political life in a state that loves Trump. Up until recently, Tester had been seen as having a kind of wide lead here.
Yeah.
But now this is a toss-up race because the Libertarian candidate in that race dropped out, presumably giving votes to the Republican. The big issues are health care and the economy.
Yeah.
Insurance rates have been on the rise in this state of Montana. Premiums have gone way up.
Right.
And then when it comes to the economy, Montana is really roaring under Trump. Unemployment's the lowest it's been since 2007.
Yeah,
and
which is why
median household incomes
he's
are
headed
way
there
up.
today. Real quick on Colorado.
That's exactly
the state's
right.
first quarter GDP was 3% in Colorado. September unemployment 3.1%. Now the leading industry here, oil and gas extraction, contributing more than $11 billion to GDP. Real quick on Colorado, Kristin.
I'm watching very closely the 6th congressional district race. People are saying this is kind of a bellwether for who controls Congress. Of course, Colorado has been trending blue for many years now, so it's an uphill battle for the incumbent Republican there. But Colorado citizens are very happy with the direction of the economy. That looks really good for Republicans. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Kristin, great analysis from you always. Thanks so much. We will see you soon.
Thanks for having me.